Welcome to the official Personality Guru. Depression in the ENTP personality may be characterized by a tendency to overthink or ruminate, due to the thinking function being one of the top two functions in the ENTP personality. The ENTP is known very well for their tendency to think a lot, dissect everything they see and hear, and argue their case both internally and externally, which may sometimes make them somewhat combative as individuals. Hence, when they are in negative situations, this tendency may sometimes backfire and they may be feeling depressed because of the constant fighting and thinking. Ruminations and overthinking have been linked to depression all the time, and a thinking-oriented person like ENTP can therefore be at high risk for depression if they do not learn to tone their thinking process down. The ENTP personality also loves to break down ideas and assess them, which can be detrimental to the depressed ENTP. As consistently breaking down the ideas that are making them depressed can just increase the time they spend thinking about them, and they may therefore become somewhat normalized in this manner. Additionally, the dominant function in the ENTP function stack is the extroverted intuition function, which helps the ENTP find distinct patterns and underlying principles of any concept of belief or even any single thought, which may enable them to see future possibilities clearly. However, when the ENTP is in a depression, it may also make them see possibilities where there are not any, and they may also start making connections between the wrong events and feel negative emotion due to this. The ENTP may also be very idealistic, and when they see the mistakes they make and the problems in the world, the needless pain and suffering, they can start to internalize all that pain because they try to analyze and understand it. And this may drown them in an existential crisis of sorts. When someone constantly tries to rationalize what cannot be rationalized, it may lead to some problematic situations, which is how the ENTP may end up depressed. Today, let's talk about ENTP depression and struggles and how the ENTP handles depressed feelings. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to the official Personality Guru and ring the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest uploads. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. Every personality type is different, and each individual person has their own way of dealing with things. While personality types can give us all the answers and insights into who a person is, there are certain tools within this information that can help at times. When it comes to depression or depressive feelings, each person has to handle this their own way. That doesn't mean that knowing your personality type cannot help you to uncover some smaller tools in aiding this process of healing. Emotions feel like the enemy. ENTPs often struggle with understanding and accepting their own emotions, so they can feel like the enemy for them. They prefer to focus on logic and things they can prove. So anything not concrete can be a challenge. When it comes to emotions, the ENTP has a tendency to bury certain feelings, especially the ones which are overwhelming. Anything that isn't easy to navigate or understand when it comes to their inner feelings can become pushed aside. ENTPs try to use logic as a means of understanding these emotions, wanting to apply facts to them in order to make more sense of what is going on. The fact that ENTPs can be so avoidant of their feelings is sometimes what causes them to struggle with depressive feelings. When they ignore these things for such a long time, they don't simply disappear and get better. Instead, these emotions trouble them worse and can lead to a serious build-up inside of the ENTP. Instead of neglecting their own feelings, the ENTP needs to learn to accept them and take notice of what they are really going through. Their emotions are not the enemy in the way they might think, but neglecting them can become harmful. Opening up is difficult, but important. For the ENTP, feeling a sense of vulnerability is truly difficult at times, but also important. They might start to alienate themselves from others in hopes of being able to solve this problem themselves. When they're feeling depressed, they can sometimes avoid being around people and start to push others way more. While sometimes being on their own helps the ENTP, they may do this to a severe degree. They need to find a balance between being alone and socializing with others. Forcing themselves to spend time with people and opening up slowly about their feelings can really be beneficial for the ENTP. Just having someone to lean on is helpful, but also can be difficult for the ENTP sometimes. They don't like being vulnerable, but often this is the only way to really heal. So finding someone they trust is truly important. Sometimes seeking professional help is truly vital, even though some ENTPs might struggle with this step. Once they realize they're in need of someone to talk to, they often benefit from finding someone they can trust. Doing research on which therapist to choose is really important for ENTP, since they do want to approach things in a logical manner. When they find someone who has proven to be intelligent and capable in their eyes, then they will feel more comfortable trusting them with something so personal. Logic can help. While the ENTP does need to start accepting their emotions in order to heal and move forward, they can also use their strength of logic to help them. It is about finding a balance between these two things. In order to truly improve and find themselves getting better, the way the ENTP can benefit from their factual and logical minds is by doing research into better understanding depression and why they are experiencing it. Taking the time to learn more about it can help the ENTP accept it much more openly. Instead of trying to bury these feelings, they can work towards understanding them and accepting that pushing them aside is not going to actually help solve the problem. This research is just another means of coming to grips with what is happening and is certainly something that helps the ENTP reach that level of acceptance that is so important for them or anyone struggling with depression. As an ENTP, what are the ways that you find or discovered to recover from what you are feeling negatively? Be sure to watch until the end and share your experience for a chance to have your comment pinned. Let go of the constant guard. ENTPs do have a guard up most of the time, especially when they're younger. It can be difficult to let down those walls and be vulnerable, so humor can be a crutch for them. While this humor can actually be a useful way for the ENTP to express themselves without feeling vulnerable, this can only work in less severe situations. There are times when the ENTP does need to let this guard down, even if they only do this with themselves at first. Learning to accept these feelings is really the only way to move forward and move on. Before we continue, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the official Personality Guru for more amazing videos. But don't forget to ring the bell icon to stay updated with our content. Relax without the guilt. ENTPs have a tendency to feel a sense of guilt when they are lacking motivation and just spending time relaxing. This guilt makes their leisure time much less leisurely, which can only aid their inner stress. The ENTP can benefit from finding ways to change their habits with things like exercise and something productive which gives them a sense of purpose. The process of changing these habits and forming new ones isn't always an easy one, but it can be truly helpful for them. Finding time to work out and even doing this with a friend can really kill two birds with one stone. Getting out and not feeling so stagnant, but also spending time with a friend can help them regain some perspective and break free of some habits which are leaving them feeling emotionally drained. Disclaimer: it is important to remember that depression can be a clinically serious issue and that you should always seek professional help when you are struggling with it. While it is nothing to be ashamed of, depression is very real and it is important to seek help in a professional sense rather than just doing your own research. These bits of advice are intended for people going through minor depressive feelings and have likely already sought professional help. They're meant as small tools and ways of helping to improve your mental state.